There are many everyday objects that we've been accustomed to seeing since childhood, such as school supplies, workshop tools, and details in clothing, without ever really questioning their function. Since these items are regular presences in our lives, we rarely stop to think about why they are the way they are. For example, do you know what that little hole in the cap of a pen is for? Or the function of the blue part of an eraser? If you don't know, don't worry, you're definitely not alone. Many people also have no idea, and that's perfectly normal. But there are explanations for these curiosities. Number 1, the blue part of the eraser. Originally, the blue part of erasers was developed to erase darker marks on thicker and rougher papers, as opposed to the traces made by pencils. The softer red part was intended for lighter marks. If the red part couldn't remove something more difficult on sturdier papers or dark stains, the blue part was used. Over time, people began using the blue part to try to erase pen ink, and when they realized it worked, this practice spread. Thus, manufacturers adapted this use as a new purpose for the eraser. Number 2, the small pocket on jeans. This small pocket, located above the larger side pocket, is often used to store coins or small objects. However, this was not its original purpose. Created in 1873, it was specifically designed to hold pocket watches, a common accessory at the time, especially when men left their jackets at home. The rivets on the pockets also have their history. They were introduced as a necessary reinforcement for Italian sailors, miners, prospectors, and farmers, who frequently tore their pants due to the weight of the tools and seeds they carried. Number 3, extra holes in sneakers. Have you ever noticed those additional holes near the laces on some sports shoes? Many think they are just a design detail, but they actually serve a practical function. By threading the laces also through these extra holes, you can achieve a more secure and stable fit around the ankle, which is essential to prevent the foot from sliding forward during activities like running. This is especially beneficial for people with flat or narrow feet, helping to prevent twists and injuries. Number 4, the J and F keys on your keyboard. Take a look at the J and F keys on your computer keyboard. You'll notice that both have a small elevation or raised line. These markings serve as tactile orientation points for typing. By placing your left and right index fingers on these keys, respectively, you can position your hands correctly to type without needing to look at the keyboard. This method, known as touch typing, facilitates fast and efficient writing. Number 5, the adjustable base of the stapler. The stapler is a common tool in offices, but many do not know that the base where the staple is bent can be adjusted. If you rotate the metal plate at the base of the stapler 180 degrees, you'll see that the staples will bend outward instead of inward. This configuration is ideal for situations where you need to temporarily join papers, as it facilitates the removal of staples without tearing the sheets, making the process of destapling much simpler and without damage to the documents. Number 6, the small hole in the pen cap. Ever wondered why pen caps have a hole at the top? Many might think it's to prevent ink leaks, but the real reason is even more crucial: to prevent choking. Strange? Let me explain better. Studies from the US Department of Health indicate that about 100 people, mainly small children, die annually from swallowing pen caps. With this concern in mind, brands designed the cap with a hole to allow air passage if someone accidentally swallows the cap, thus reducing the risk of choking. Number 7, details on the tip of the tape measure. If you've ever handled a tape measure, you may have noticed 2 details on the metal end: a small hole and a serrated edge. These elements are surprisingly useful. The hole allows you to secure the tip of the tape measure on a nail for greater stability when measuring long distances, while the serrated edge can be used to mark measurement points directly on the surface, in case you don't have a pencil nearby. Functional, right? Number 8, the pleat on the back of the dress shirt. Maybe you've never paid much attention, but that pleat found on the back of many dress shirts is not just an aesthetic detail. Historically, when hangers were not common and many people did not own wardrobes, these pleats were essential for keeping shirts organized without creasing. They allowed shirts to be hung on nails on the walls. Although this function has become obsolete with the advent of modern hangers and wardrobes, the detail remains as a stylistic remnant. Knowing this, in an emergency without hangers, you now have an alternative solution for storing your shirts without creasing them. Now that you know the history and function of these everyday details, I hope you see these objects in a new light. Until the next video, folks, goodbye.